let's quickly move on to the international signings. I did want to talk about Emmanuel Beltre, who is a 16-year-old out of the Dominican. Of course, they were trying to implement a draft when it comes to the international market. And some of you might remember from the collective bargaining agreement that they had set a limit of end of July. And if they could figure out a draft for the international side of things, then they would eliminate the qualifying offer. That didn't happen. Qualifying offers are still a part of baseball, and the international signees are still going to be pretty much Major League Baseball teams going to all these international countries and trying to sign kids at 14, 15, 16, rolling the dice that they can develop them into true players. A lot of raw skill that they're hoping that they can develop. So Emmanuel Bonilla. Sorry, I keep saying Beltre. Emmanuel Bonilla. Because there is a Manuel Beltre.
Right.
Young 20-year-old kid in Dunedin right now who is a top 10 prospect for the Blue Jays. But Emmanuel Bonilla is an outfielder. They figure that he, in this international class, might be the best pure hitter with power. He is incredibly fast for a 16-year-old kid, and it looks like his slot is going to be, and of course slot, he's not being drafted, but his price tag is going to be $4 million. And the thing with international signees, it's really interesting because it's almost like this, the rule is you can't really go out there and talk to them and sign them until January, but everybody does anyways, to the point where they literally are announcing who they're going to sign months beforehand, right? Like, right. We're in September and this doesn't happen until January. But he's a ton of upside, and if we know anything about the Toronto Blue Jays is that their international scouting has been one of their strong suits over the last 6-7 years. Since the Shapiro regime kind of took over, they really, and I mean, even further back, Vladdy obviously was an Anthopoulos signing. But that said, Vladdy Guerrero Jr.
I was just going to say,
to the rule.
I probably could have picked Vladdy Guerrero Jr. out of a dirt park in South America. So, just while we're on the topic of international signings here, unless you have anything else you want to add on Bonilla, I do just want to throw a little bit of love to Sam Robberse, because international signing out of the Netherlands.
Yes.
This kid, great year. Probably going to be AAA next year. I mean, everybody's asking about Ricky Tiedemann. Will we see him next year? I mean, gun to my head, if I had to pick which guy do we see first, I would still say probably Sam Robberse, in my opinion.
I might be in that camp as well. And I mean, Sam Robberse has been on the show 2 different times. He came on when he this was when the pandemic had eliminated the minor league season. So he came on at that time, and just a 19-year-old, fresh-faced kid, didn't know much.
Hilarious mustache.
Hilarious mustache. So excited to talk with us. And then he came back after his very successful season in Dunedin and with Vancouver, where he got the bump up. This year, of course, he pitched incredibly well in Vancouver, being one of the stalwarts of that Vancouver Canadians starting pitching. He got bumped up to AA around the same time that Ricky Tiedemann did, which is kind of cool because here's the thing. Tiedemann and Robberse are both 20 years old. Tiedemann just turned 20. Robberse is turning 21 right away here, but they're basically the same age. Robberse right now ranks 7th out of in the Blue Jays farm system. Tiedemann, of course, I think he's all the way up to number 2, but both very, very high ceiling pitching prospects. Robberse, too, when we first talked to him, had just hit 90 miles an hour. This was like a year and a half ago, and now he's touching 94, 95, and he continues to build bulk. So, this is a kid who, if you can get him to the point where he's touching 96, his secondary stuff is excellent. So I love that you brought up Sam.
Very cool. I should shoot him a message and see if we can get.
Yeah,
him
we'll
back
bug him,
this
try and get
offseason.
him back on the show here to talk about his his experience in
Well,
AA.
he had a great season. I'm sure he'd love to come back and talk. Right?
Of course.
If he had a bad season, maybe he's not so thrilled to talk ball. But
yeah,
he had a great season.
Adam Kloffenstein's not coming back, but yeah, like.
All right, let's just burn some more bridges.
All right, let's end it there, my dude.
All right.
Always a pleasure. Please, if you have watched this deep into the podcast, hit subscribe, hit like, leave us a comment. We're going to do long toss on Sunday and then Chris Black on Monday. So
very
lots of good stuff on the way.
Support Mr. Scott Belford. Go check out his comedy album out now, Staying Together for the Cat. Available everywhere you get stuff.
Thanks, buddy. Cheers, everybody.
You bet. Cheers.